Bloody hell, it's been a minute since we've done one of these. Welcome to the Vibe Union podcast, baby. My goodness, like 10 months since we've done this. Ay.
That's a long time. That's nearly a year.
That is nearly a year. Quick math. Look, we might have forgotten how to host a podcast, but we're going to wing it as we do with everything in Vibe Union. We're in a new location.
Yes,
where are we?
This is very
where
true.
are we, Jason?
Where are we? We're at Radio Bar.
Goshy.
Yes.
Golly gosh. Off to a flying start.
Yes, we are not awkward at all. So we had a Radio Bar before Radio Talk, which is poetry, but we'll get into that, obviously.
Talk about that more.
But before we get started, I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. It's important to understand that treaties were never signed, sovereignty was never ceded, and we are conducting ourselves on stolen land, and we are very. This is Paul walking through the camera.
It's an authentic experience.
Also, I just want to acknowledge the Palawa people of Lutruwita, which is the First Nations people of Tasmania, because that's where I unfortunately grew up. So, anyway, let's get on with the podcast.
Well. Right, since we...
Is it a podcast? Who knows?
Just kicking it off, after 10 months, things have changed. I'm the new moon now.
I don't know what that means, but I laughed anyway.
Now, we've said we're a radio bar, so I think we should give a quick introduction of where we are and what we're about to do after this podcast. And so you can understand a little bit about the chaos that may ensue during this podcast. Jason, where are we?
Radio Bar.
Excellent.
Yes.
Describe it. What's it all about?
What the concept, the existential crisis of Radio Bar itself, or
philosophically, what is Radio Bar?
Well, see, I think it was Plato that once said. It said it's basically the homestead now of our poetry. Yeah. It was a homestead of state of oscillation, as you can see here.
Yeah. Unless you're listening only. In which case you can't see.
It looks good.
Let us describe it for you. It's canvas and it says state of oscillation on. All right, that's enough of that.
It's chaos. But yeah, it's sort of the hub of our events. Well, most of them. The poetry is coming up soon. Tonight.
Poetry's been our bloody longest running event.
Over 2 years now.
My
goodness.
It was
our second birth anniversary a month ago.
It's crazy to think that we're doing poetry. And we've been doing Vibe Union for like 3 years, but like poetry has been going for 2 years, which is absolutely bonkers. I guess it doesn't feel like that because we went through an experience that shall not be.
Yes, a time
we refuse to talk about.
A lot of time at home. But we still did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That was great. Yep.
Yes, and.
Yes, that's...
But yeah, I mean, so Radio Talk tonight is our poetry night. We host it here at Radio Bar. We have musicians, and that's awesome.
One at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
We have a full 10-piece big band that comes through. You can't hear a damn thing. It's really overwhelming.
That's what makes it a good poetry night. No one can hear anything.
That's why we say we do poetry differently. Because you can't hear the poetry, which is the ideal way to listen to poetry in my books. I'm a big fan. Look, I'm a big fan. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it for 2 years. But it is chaos. It is absolutely chaos here.
Well, that's my fault, but...
you definitely don't help the situation.
No, I don't. I am the MC of the night. And it's been 2 years, and I still don't know how to do it properly. Well, who made the rules about MCing properly anyway?
There's things you could get better at.
That loses the authenticity of it, doesn't it?
That's what I've been thinking so much. Yeah, this is
how to rein Jason in.
I gave up a long time ago. Thinking a lot, and this is very like cliche, cheesy kind of topic to talk about, but it's an arts podcast, so fucking buckle up and you click on something else if you don't like this. Authenticity. As artists and as a community and as presenters of events, how to be authentic. What is the things pulling one away from being authentic?
When we definitely don't have a previous podcast talking about authenticity at all.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
no one's listened to that
Subscribe to our OnlyFans so we have money
And
to
as
make
if like
podcasts.
that's like every podcast, you just rattle off the same fucking topics all the fucking time.
Yes.
Have you heard about cancel culture? I was
Cancel
thinking about
culture.
this. I was thinking about
seriously.
bringing
I
that
think it was
up.
Jordan Peterson that once said he's my favorite human being. He's a ray of light and sunshine.
It's good to finally have a daddy that tells me to clean my room. You know.
For everyone listening.
Actually, no,
at
mine
home.
came down pretty hard on that kind of stuff. He was good in that sense.
Yes, just like Jordan Peterson. Yes,
He was Canadian.
Yes, true.
But he was-
It probably still is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Actually,
a dad joke right there. So
well, he's never gotten rid of his citizenship. So, well, he's never like become an Australian citizen. So he's 100%
Canadian.
Canadian.
You lose it over time, I think. Yeah, I heard that. I think it was. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Can't find another philosopher to talk about.
This is Nietzsche. That
But the chaos of your presenting and the chaos of what Vibe Union is obviously draws a very particular crowd.
yes. A crowd that I wouldn't normally expect to be around the chaos. In a way, I don't know. Like
I do always question it, like why people keep showing up.
but I think, I mean, in the night, like I've rambled about this before. I don't know, but like other poetry nights I have been to in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know, just didn't have a very communal vibe. Oh, sorry. Communal.
I now realize why people don't drink beer necessarily on podcasts.
They don't have that communal feel. It's kind of, I don't know, less inviting and and that kind of thing. It kind of, I didn't feel comfortable at a few events, few open mics that I went to, 2019 kind of thing. Just sort of, but here kind of people seem to keep coming back, and we're still.
There was definitely a competitive nature to a lot of poetry ones that I used to go to back in the day. But the actual night wasn't run as a competitive thing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Slammer, which is actually a
competitive thing.
A competition.
Slammer Lammer Ding Dong. The last Tuesday of every month. It's once a month. Anyway.
Last time I went to that, which was the last one, was awesome.
No, there was one after that. There was one.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
Nonetheless,
doesn't matter.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
Funnily enough, the one that actually has competition woven into it, I actually find kind of comfortable. Maybe because it's like really dictated, like this is what this is, while some of them become a little bit cliquey, and it's the underlying competitive nature in it.
What's it like? We have. I mean, I guess we are. We at Radio Talk don't believe in cliques, but I think we're just one big clique in a way. Like,
well, we don't know how to form social.
Yes, we are. Yes, this is the closest we've ever been to each other.
So we physically cannot form cliques. It's impossible.
Yes, it's written into my DNA.
Unless you want to come play tabletop games with me, in which case maybe we can talk.
Yes, but I've always wondered, like, how many people don't come back because of me, and I'm assuming there is a small percentage of that. Because we get people to sign up online, and that, like, not everyone does, but a lot of people do. So we already have a list of tonight, 16 people that are. Mm-hmm. So I know 16 people that should show up, and there's a lot of individuals that gatekeep poetry, and I could rant about that for a while, but we kind of let people, express themselves and be, whatever they want to be. That's not what I meant. Because we've had people like, a lot of new poets come through us. And they were like, oh, this is not what I expected, or I went somewhere else. And no shade on other nights, but a little bit of shade.
Well, I guess, like,
you know who you are.
Otherwise, same with anything, like if you loved what the other person was doing, other night was doing, or what have you, then you would just keep going to that one. If you see what you want to do differently, then that's why you would start your own night. But to give the benefit of the doubt there, I understand why people turn to gatekeeping. I think it's subconscious, but I think a lot about. My poem, I think last time was about this, was that it makes no fucking sense for me to be doing any of this because I find I'm a socially anxious guy. And so to throw myself into these situations where I have to be around a bunch of people, and there was
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'll even say like 30Dirk, like hosting 30Dirk the other night. I was fucking heart was in my mouth and racing. It was awful.
It was down the night, and then we just sort of
It eased off for
Yes.
sure, as it always does. But I guess having this situation where you are throwing yourself into these places, and a lot of artists are socially anxious, so they're throwing themselves into whatever place, be it a poetry night, if they're hosting it, or if they're just going to it, they go into a rap battle, and it's there's a competitive nature to those kind of spaces, but it's still, you're putting your heart out there, and then you're desperately hoping for people to like you. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you just really want people to like you, and then to have other people come in and want to change anything. If you manage to find a little bit of a safe space for yourself, I get
Yeah.
why you would want to be like, no, this is mine.
I
I
think
gotta keep this.
yeah, it's sort of. Also, I think they just kind of scared of change as well, which is kind of
course.
because kind of works into like this is what I know poetry to be. Because I know there's some individuals that I've been told about through other people. They're like, why would you sign up online? Why can't we just write our names on a whiteboard? And I'm like, because we don't have a big enough whiteboard for all the names because we're so popular.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I just sort of it's a new age, and new way of doing stuff, and I think it just makes it easier for us as well.
That's really what it is for me.
Streamlining it. Just,
I mean, I posted on my Instagram the other day, like, I'm writing an album, humble brag, and
Paul behind the camera.
you don't have to hide. It's all real. And I posted a spreadsheet. I put my album details all into Excel or
Yeah,
into
the
Google,
witchcraft
into
of
Google Sheets.
Excel. Yeah.
And everything Vibe Union does is there is a Google Sheet behind it somewhere.
Yeah, there is. I can.
My brain
I can attest to
cannot
that.
operate
Yeah, and I don't know
without
yeah.
it.
I don't know how to use any of that stuff. So
It's isn't it? It's interesting. Like I guess like this case with social circles as well, but artists especially. Like for some people like myself, I want it to be in my calendar when something is happening. Yeah. I want it in a spreadsheet somewhere so I can connect the dots and find out where it's going, and I can then organize all the data.
Yeah.
I can understand who's coming, what isn't
that's
working.
where you and I are very different. We're very similar in a lot of ways, but when it comes to the organisation stuff, I'm just like,
yeah, but you always show up to the thing.
yeah, this is true because I've got nothing else going on in my life. So this is, it's easier to remember gigs.
If I don't have everything written down or in my calendar or in my to-do list or what have you, then
I know.
I will forget.
Yeah.
And I will get really, really stressed about it.
Yeah.
While other people, if I tell them like, oh, can you put that in your calendar? Like, oh, I can't use calendars because I just get really stressed. Because they look at the calendar, and I get it. I look at my calendar, and everything's in there, so it looks really intense. And that stresses other people out. But that calms me down.
The stress of others calms you down.
Well, I just like to organize my life. Is that such a crime?
I don't. I mean, I like the organised chaos sometimes of my existence, but
Okay, so you're happy to like say you're organizing like, oh, we're going to do a game night, we're going to do a pizza party with all of my best friends, a wowee.
Yeah, plastic
and you
cups.
say, great, it's going to be on June 11th, and you just
Pasito,
like lock
yes.
that in your head and go, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
How do you do you remember that date?
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said, I don't have a lot of other like things going on, but I go, yeah, okay, that's that date. Oh, yeah.
That's bonkers.
I mean, I can Rain Man some things I can't. I'm allowed to say that.
Where's the date right now?
It's the 26th.
Date is April 26th.
Because it's Anzac Day was yesterday, which is the 25th, and that
May
was public
27th.
holiday.
Do you know anything that's happening on May 27th?
Yeah, yes, I'm doing nothing.
Okay, right. Yeah,
I've got no upcoming plans. I know.
You know when Radio Talk is?
I'm going to have, it's in 2 weeks, so I don't know what date it is, but it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's easy to remember. It's a Wednesday, 2 weeks from now.
That's fair.
I get robotic sometimes. I'm like, 2 weeks, done.
Yeah.
I might have my own pizza party on a Saturday night. Who knows?
I better be invited. I have been thinking about this, though, that I think I do. Oh, I'm so terribly sorry. I'm having let's talk about what are we drinking? I've got a Deeds counterclockwise Czech dark lager, and I tell you what, baby, it's going down smooth.
I've got a Deeds Brewing pre-game pale ale for all your drinking needs. Go to Deeds.
This is a guarantee that we can't be monetized on YouTube. I don't know what the rules are around drinking on
Well,
YouTube.
it used to be you can't.
Yeah.
I forget to speak sometimes, or how to speak. It used to be you can't show yourself drinking.
Yeah.
But I don't think it. I think that might have changed.
I
Or,
hope so.
it could be like slightly restricted, like age restricted, but you can still get monetized.
Surely it'll
I'm
just
not-
be age restricted, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But then age restriction means we have less advertisement want to do that.
Well,
I
this
think.
is a conversation to have now and not
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
prior
good.
to the podcast.
You can't swear in the first 30 seconds or something. I know that.
Yeah, I think you just get demonetized.
Yeah,
though.
it's like.
And I think we did anyway. Doesn't matter.
No, I think we
I have been thinking that, like, do I want to get into that mindset more of just like free flowing? And I was thinking about that with lockdowns.
free flowing like this. The Deeds Brewing pre-game pale ale. Sorry.
I guess you can't speak on it because you haven't then gotten busy after lockdowns.
Oh,
You've gotten busier,
I had a shower from time to time.
but you haven't had a
No,
you haven't gone back to a
I'm-
job, to
I'm-
a proper job.
I'm
And
living.
I'm
This,
saying
yes,
I'm not saying that as
we
like
do
get
like each other.
Get a fucking job. I don't wanna go to
I'm
work.
living the stereotypical freelancer creative life. So
Yeah.
no one else has to.
So that freedom during lockdown of though I tried to get into the daily routines. I like the daily routines, but especially working on like a project or be it a hobby or something like that. You just wake up one day and you go, I'm gonna make a bird.
Make a bird.
Build a bird.
Make a bird. I'm gonna make a bird.
What was I gonna say? Like a bird house? Is that what you fucking? Yeah.
You can make birdhouses, yeah.
Right.
With a veranda and.
There was that sense of just like I've got that time endlessly in front of me. So
I think having
might
too
as
much
well
time
make it.
sometimes is like. Yep, drinking beer at a podcast is not a good
Terrible
idea.
idea. That's why they
but,
said.
But
That's
if
why
I
they
have to
said
drink a beer, it would be Deeds Brewing.
We're gonna try and get sponsored by Deeds as well next time.
Anyway, but sometimes, yeah, if you have too much time, it's just like, well, I'll just do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
I've got 4 days of, like, I'm going to go out and do this. I'm going to get coffee in
That's
the morning.
true.
I'll go for a walk. I'll do this or do that. You're like, oh, this thing doesn't really need to be done until tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into that.
That's true.
So it kind of gets old. So that's what I like to. Well, now I just like I haven't done it for a while, but I just because I like trains because I'm a little autistic boy. And just get on a train and go somewhere new because I'm not from Melbourne, and so I haven't been to a lot of places. So I'm like, I went to this train station. People are like, where the fuck did you go there? I'm like, never been. Like Batman station. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Batman. It's
Yeah.
Batman, and I saw Batman, and now I've been to Batman. Once you go Batman, you never go back. No, actually, I left quite quickly.
What's the station like?
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 stars. Out of 5 stars.
Maybe 2.5, 3.
What was it lacking that needed to get it up to?
Atmosphere, trees.
Yeah, man.
Well, see,
without-
where I live is very, very lush and very nice. It reminds me of Tassie without having to be in Tassie.
that's the ideal
so-
situation.
Yes.
What is? What? Okay. Have you got any stations that like top tier?
Oh, going out to Hurstbridge is nice
Okay.
because it turns into a single track and it's just you're literally going through the middle of the bush and you go to Hurstbridge and then you go, what the fuck do I do in Hurstbridge?
Is that
And then you
heading
go
towards
back.
the Dandenongs?
Yes.
I think
Sort
I'm,
of
I think
out that way.
Yeah.
No, it's red, so it's same
Out of the way.
No, other way. I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know the lines. I don't know the lines.
I'm
well
not
enough.
from here. Right. It is.
But
and then-
Hurstbridge line. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but I need to take the V line somewhere because I just.
You've not been on a V line?
No, I haven't.
Oh my boy!
I know. I'm
You gotta go on a
I'm
V-line.
Pretty little boy. Yes. I just now they're the same price as a normal PTV. The tap mic thing.
Easy day trip.
Yeah. Thank
Easy
you.
day
Thank
trip.
you, Dan Andrews.
I did not. Let's just leave it. Did not appreciate how fucking good Bendigo line is, because I grew up in Castlemaine on the Bendigo line, and I would ride it into Melbourne with my big lollipop and my little spinny hat.
It was a cliche.
And it was fucking gorgeous. You're going through Malmesbury and you're going through...
I've seen it on a map.
Woodend. Woodend is a gorgeous station.
There's no end like Woodend.
There's no end like Woodend. All the Goldfields stations are gorgeous. And then I went on the Geelong line, and it is just empty fucking wasteland. The whole way is industrial sections, and industrial sections in Australia are just sheds. They're just big sheds. There's occasionally like a gas works or something like that.
And then you have trucks, right, driving through sheds, not through.
It's just that's not exciting. If I want to go through an industrial section, I want to go through like
nuclear waste. I want Chernobyl.
Either Chernobyl or like early industrialization in the UK, where it's just like black smog.
I want it peak revolution.
Or like actually Japan's pretty good. Or like
bullet train would be fun.
Through an industrial section.
Oh, just anywhere.
Just
a touch.
I want mountains, beautiful. Like what's the big one?
Mount Fuji.
Thank you. Fuji on one side, industrial on the other side. That's my dream.
That's what I've always said. I want that. That's how I balance life. It's the new yin and yang. Fuji one side, industrial. So this is really.
I wonder how often the 5BM podcast will return
trains.
Just keep going back down to trains.
Return of the train. Well, we better get back on track.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we can. Well, a 30-minute podcast is very good. We can end it there. I was thinking. So if you've got a thing that you want to do, but you feel like you've got all the time in the world to do it, and you keep putting it off.
Yeah.
Let's do this with two different situations, though. One of them is you've got a piece you want to write.
Yes.
And you've got laundry.
Yes.
That was the end of my sentence. Laundry, easy to put off, but do you find the same with the writing? Do you want to have that on your to-do list, or do you want to feel like a sense of urgency to it, or do you want to wait until now I got it?
Well, the annoying thing for me is because I've got so much time, and I've got the annoying ADHD brain as well. It's a walking cliche of mental health, really.
Yeah.
I'll sit down at my desk. I'll have something I'll watch on TV right there, and then I'll write on here.
Paint an image for me. TV's over
here. Yeah. So if you can't, if you're just listening to it, on my right hand side is my TV plugged into my laptop with HDMI cable, so a split screen. Yes. That's the tech.
The height of luxury.
And so I've got I use a website. It's like typewriting, so it makes a clicky clacky sound. So fun.
I love this shit.
And then I watch some Taskmaster or something I've seen a million times, and I go, I will be productive, and I write like 4 lines, and I go, but then if I remember, I'll try to go to a cafe or something, and then just write like there. But it sort of depends on, once again, depends on the mood, depends on what my muse is, what my inspiration is, what And sometimes I just want to play PlayStation and pretend I'm a Jedi,
I think we get so, especially like obviously I grew up when I grew up, so I can't really speak to before I grew up. Yes, but like in the world of the internet, like we have a constant bombardment of like, hey, do you do a creative thing? How are you going to best monetize it? How are you going to turn it into a thing? How are you going to make that really, really consistent?
That's why we have all those bots on Instagram. It's like, do you want to?
Oh my goodness, the bots on Instagram for hip hop at the moment are.
Someone just said they showed my I just showed my shit to their boss and they fucked with it. Shout out to Gemma.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, your boss doesn't fuck with it because
interesting.
You're not going to show someone with 3 monthly listeners.
I try and fuck with them. I try and get them to I either go on like a socialist rant and see what they do, which is they usually tune out pretty quickly, or try and sell them crypto, or try and get weirdly like close emotionally with them very, very quickly. Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Well, I think the funniest one I ever had was I had autism awareness kind of Instagram. They had like 20, 30,000 followers.
Oh, right.
And they messaged me because of, we'll post or something, and they were like, oh, do you want us to promote your page?
Sure.
Right? And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. Promote my page. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, here's all our prices.
Yeah.
And I'm like, No, I'm not paying. Like, if you think my stuff is good,
Do you say this is an autism awareness?
yeah. Like, you know, they care about mental health as long as you pay. It's kind of how it works, isn't it?
For a price,
Yeah, that's what psychologists are. So, you know, they care as long as you pay.
Oh, my Lord.
Sorry. No shade if you're a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
We're shading the system.
Just don't charge
some
as much. Just don't charge as much. Anyway,
Do it for free. Do everything. Everyone do everything for free all the time.
Yes, all the time. Anyway, so yeah, they were like,
That's why we're not a globe. That's why we're not as successful.
shut up, get your politics out later. I haven't finished my autism story. Leave me alone.
They never finish.
That's why I have this every 2 weeks. No, but yeah, they were like, here's, you know, a post, costs this much, and I was just like, well, if you like my stuff, if you really fuck with it, then you would promote it on your own. Like if you think it was really good. And then I took a screenshot. It's on my other old phone, so I don't think I have it anymore. But they deleted the part where they sent me all the prices in the conversation because I went back to show someone, I'm like, I'm like, that's not shady at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they had the puzzle piece and the puzzle piece, and that now is with a different called Autism Speaks, and they fucking suck. And then I have a tattoo on my arm with a puzzle piece because I didn't know they sucked at the time. So I'm like, well, I'm just reclaiming the anyway, that's a whole other thing.
What does the puzzle piece represent?
Or the puzzle piece was like, you know, they still fit in. Those people
Still fit in
they
somewhere?
still fit into society like a puzzle piece.
Sure.
But then it's basically Autism Speaks has that as their logo, and they're a disgusting organisation.
Right.
And that's what everyone got from that. And then now it's more of an affinity sign.
Sure.
I think, which is
so that's like your black square of autism. That you've now tattooed onto your body.
Yeah, well, it's like it's the whole thing. But no, yeah, I'm not cool. It looks cool anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't.
We're trying to be socially aware. We're trying to do our darndest.
Well, it's Autism Awareness Month. Is everyone aware? Cool. Moving on. They exist. We exist. Get used to it.
I feel like our world is both built for and absolutely against autism.
Yeah.
In
I'm against it.
profound ways.
I'm against it.
I'm
I'm sick of their propaganda being shoved down our throat. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to touch it. But
anyway.
trying to get away from this is a winding conversation. But trying to get away from that. And Instagram is fucking terrible with this.
Yeah.
I've always known that idea of like if you go on Instagram, your mental health just fucking plummets. But I've never really been into Instagram very much. I've posted on it a shitload, but I don't spend any time on it.
No, yeah, it's true.
But because I schedule everything and yada yada yada. I don't actually.
He doesn't schedule Instagram time. So.
Pardon?
You don't schedule Instagram time.
No, I don't schedule
just
Instagram
scroll.
time.
4 o'clock, scroll.
I've been doing more scrolling recently, and then I feel it immediately. I feel this disconnect. I feel like, oh god, everyone's over there doing amazing things, and I'm over here. But all the people that are in my thing are all creatives. They're all artists, and it's such a weird dichotomy of trying to create a thing that has inherent value just by existing at all.
Yeah.
And then putting that into a world which this is going to be political, but just capitalism in general. But Instagram is just like the fucking worst of it, or a great just example of it. Just taking that thing and putting it into that world where you were constantly bombarded with like, oh, your art's amazing, but you're not getting any reach, and you could get the reach with just $20, $50, yada yada. And it's like,
well, it's the same as like if you market yourself, you still got to like. That's more legit because it's obviously through Instagram. Yeah, that's what marketing. You still got to pay for it. Like it's sort of. You have more money. You can market yourself. You know.
I guess you're paying for. Yeah, are you paying for it in time, or are you paying for it in cash?
But you get to choose how much marketing you want to do compared to just give us money and just trust us that we'll make you famous.
And you can choose your language a bit more as well.
Yes, I prefer English. Even though I can't speak it very well.
I sat down with someone, we were doing the social media talk, like discussing like who's your audience and how best to communicate with them and all that kind of stuff. And I put it all out there and said like, this is what I learned doing a marketing course. And now let's ignore everything I just said because they are people. Where this is art. This is not. You're not trying to sell hand cream. You're not trying to sell a new Android telephone.
There goes our hand cream. There goes our vibing hand cream idea.
My hands are baby soft. I don't need a hand cream. I bathe them in the milk of the many mothers.
I didn't like that. And on that note,
this is podcast, right?
He's filthy.
A little dirtier than real life. In real life, I must stay clean at all times.
By bathing in mother's milk, yeah.
This is the original sanitizer. The milk of the many mothers.
That's what it says on the milk cartons, yeah. The original sanitizer.
But like communicating in that kind of way, like trying to act hype the entire fucking time about your poetry or about the new single that you're dropping or a folk album that you're putting out, and like, guys, this is about to change the game. This is like the fucking hottest shit in Melbourne. It's like, it's so unbelievable. And
I'd fuck with a folk singer if they were just like, yo, motherfuckers, buy my folk stuff.
Actually, I saw a folk singer on the weekend in Malden, and I was hanging out with a friend who kept saying Malden, and that was very fun. I never corrected them because it was funny.
Of course. Why would you? Why would you be a nice person?
Is that nice? They can say it however they want to say it.
If they're saying it wrong, then people need to be told they're wrong.
Yeah, but like I come from Castlemaine. We all say Castlemaine, but if you're from Australia, you should be saying Castlemaine. Wait, Castle? Oh no, I can't. I don't know which way I would go. That's a big
I'll say Castlemaine.
I don't know, but everyone's like really fucking like it's fucking Castlemaine. It's stupid.
Just don't say the T.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where
are we going with that? So you just did correct someone.
What was my point? Yeah, they didn't do the self-deprecating thing though that a lot of people do. That a lot of bands and folk singers in Australia do. They don't like. They were just like, yeah, I write good songs. And I'm
nice.
going to go across the pond and I'm going to show off over there. And it was very entertaining. But it wasn't that Instagram
It's just they were confident in themselves and their abilities.
Yeah.
In a non like delusion of grandeur kind of way.
Yeah, it's different between a confidence and a marketing perspective.
Like, because my narcissism when I get MC, I'm like, I fucking killed that. I'm like, no, I didn't. So I got pissed off probably 3 people. Also, you won't shut the fuck up. But yeah, I like that. I don't go to many folk. I don't go to many gigs at all, really. So
just the ones that we run.
Yeah, just the ones we run. So because radio talk is a very good poetry night.
But that I think that resonates through what we do because we have tried to sell what we do, and we're fucking terrible at it.
Yeah.
Every radio talk is exactly that, which I guess is why people are drawn to it though, because it's very much just like, hey, you fucking like this thing?
This is not your mother's poetry night.
So do we.
You know.
We think it's cool.
It's good. Yes. Yeah. On that note, we barely went through any of the notes that we wrote down.
Is there anything you want to really get through before? I think we should talk about poetry book.
Oh yes.
Hit us up. What's going on?
We have a book.
Sorry, fantastic. Fucking hell.
This is what happens. Anyway, glimpse into how much frustration Rye gets. So yes, we have a poetry book on the way, in the works. It's been a while in the works. It's basically just a glimpse into our open mic night. We asked a bunch of people that come back regularly or semi-regularly to submit a poem. So we've got 25, 26 poets in a book that we've done. We've used a website. They've been really annoying. They deleted the first, deleted our account, and then we're like, cool, we'll start again. And then now we're finally just waiting for it to be approved.
I'm fucking happy to say it. Ingram Spark.
Oh yeah, Ingram Sparks.
Garbage system.
They're nowhere near as good as Deeds Brewing.
I do fuck with Deeds.
But yeah, so we've got that coming out. That's finally, we basically nearly finalised it today.
Yeah. Send it in. Send it in to be finalised to make sure that there's no.
So that's a fun
unsavoury chapters.
And then with this one, we'll do this.
Yes.
Yes, I'm pointing at a thing. If you
this goes perfectly into our conversation, helping us sell ourselves.
Yes. We decided after many late nights of deliberating, and we dealing with clerics, oracles, Ouija boards, everything possible, other than Jesus. We decided to have a Patreon.
Fuck Ingram Spark and Jesus.
Yes. Yes, that's the title of the book. Anyway, the book's called Chaotic Musings. There Perfect. You go. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, we have also Patreon. We've only just launched it.
Yeah, very
so
soft launch. We haven't told
very,
anyone.
very soft launch.
Haven't told anyone
We'll
yet.
go full erect with it soon. So far it's still soft. It's sorry, but yeah. So that's a thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
and we're done, and we'll be doing. So
I'm gonna riff on this for a second.
Yeah,
We've been doing
riff
this.
away.
We've been doing this for a little bit. We're doing this for like 3 years of making fucking pennies doing this stuff because of what we've been talking about. Because we're not hype. We're not like trying to do anything. We don't have that sense of grandeur. We
Yeah.
have this sense of just like we like doing this thing. And we want other people to come through and go like, oh, I like doing that thing as well. And that is it. And
Yeah.
so Patreon is hopefully going to be a place where you just say, hey, if you like our events and you like this podcast and there will be blog posts, we'll try and do a little bit more. But if you like that stuff,
chuck
couple
us a couple of bucks.
of bucks really
Chuckle
helps.
bucks, chuck us
We
some
have
bucks.
got a website to pay for and we've got marketing to pay for and stuff like that. Not that we do a lot of it, but
But like, all the book came off like out of our own,
yeah,
out
exactly.
of a Vibe Union's pocket, basically.
A couple more bucks means we get to do more stuff without having to. We're never going to, I think, like try and grow into this more traditional.
Multi-level marketing.
Company?
Yeah.
But we'd like to do the things companies can
Yeah.
do. And that's where I look
or
at
we
it.
just become a cult. And
Which
then,
we've actually been accused of being before.
and then so we don't have to pay tax, because if Scientology can do it, so can
That's
we.
true. I don't pay tax anyway. Not through Vibe Union. That's for future Rhath to deal with. That's going to be a problem for later.
But yeah, if you don't know who we are, we are Vibe Union. Follow us on Instagram, vibe.union.
Yeah.
We're on TikTok if you want to go on TikTok. Website vibeunion.com.au, and there's all the stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to this, you already know who we
Yes.
are.
But if you
But start
don't,
coming out to more. Start coming out
fucking do it.
other events. Hit us up on Patreon and do the things like comment and share and all this kind of stuff. Also, if you come out to gigs and shit and you want to be on the podcast, you want to come and hang out, come and message us on Vibe Union Instagram account.
Vibe.union.
This thing's loose and chaotic, and we're going to keep it that way. So come get involved with the looseness.
The loose. Get down with the looseness. I don't think we should end it
I'm
like
trying
that.
to put like mother's milk and looseness
stop
together.
Loose mother's milk. That's what you want to end it on.
I think that's what I want to end
Loose
it on.
mother's
No,
milk.
we want to end it on Deeds, the only beer that I will ever bathe my weary bones in. Oh yeah, cheers.
It's
Great.
a perfect way to end a podcast.
All right. That's that. I think that's a podcast done.
Yep. I'm a lot louder than you.
I'm gonna mumble to end it this way. Oh, the song's by Sixpence. We haven't done this in fucking ages. The song's by Sixpence. The songs at the start was by Sixpence.
Shout out to Sixpence.
Bye.